Here are all of the supplies that I'm going to be using today to make my painting. The only thing I forgot to record is my water and my Elmer's craft glue. Here I am mixing my paints, and I use a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1 of acrylic paint, Elmer's craft glue, and water. There are different ways that you can mix your paint. You could use Floetrol instead of Elmer's glue. You can play around with the ratios. You can add cell activators to it. But this is just the way I like to do it, so feel free to play around with that and do something different and let me know how it turns out. Regardless of how you are mixing your paint though, the consistency that you're kind of looking for is similar to warm honey. So once I have all of my colors mixed up, I am adding one layer at a time into one single cup. The inspiration for these colors today comes from my kitchen. We have a red and teal theme going on. I went ahead and painted the sides and edges of my canvas too, since I had extra paint, just to make sure that everything was going to be covered. Now I have my canvas on top of my cup, and I'm just flipping it over, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute so all of the paint can run down. Since I had extra paint, I decided to just go ahead and add it to the canvas now. This will just make it easier for the paint to move around once I start tilting the canvas. This is a smaller canvas than I normally work with, so I just made way too much paint than what I thought I needed. Which is funny because I was even using a smaller amount of paint than normal, but you know, whatever. Now I'm using my air gun to pop any air bubbles, and then I pick the canvas up and just start tilting the paint around on the canvas. And I'm wearing gloves at this part because this is where it gets the messiest. I wasn't in love with my design at this part, so I went ahead and added more paint and continued to move it around until I got a design that I was happy with. And while my paint is still wet, I'm going to add a cover over it to prevent any dust, hair, and flies from getting into my wet paint. And here is the dry result of my painting.